Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the return episode of Career Retrospective. I know it's been a little bit of time since I've been around here. I've been dealing with some family stuff, so I appreciate everybody being so understanding and patient of me. Thank you to Shadow so much for keeping things under wraps while I was gone and helping me out. I know he hosted a couple episodes for me, so a big appreciation to that man. He's somewhere in the comments, I'm sure. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our first episode back, brought to you by Off the Top Media and Rivet City Radio. The phenomenal AJ Styles. I'm honestly surprised we haven't tackled AJ Styles yet, given the amount that man has accomplished in this business. As always, with me, we got Scalz over to my left. I think he's on my left. Is that where you are on the stream? Are you on my left?
I am on your left. Yes, you are correct.
Scalz is the man behind the scenes that pretty much runs this whole operation, gets it going, helps put everything together. He's joining us tonight. As always, also, we got the Alpha Wolf, Sean. All right. And returning, representing Northland Wrestling out of North Bay, Ontario, Canada, we got Rusty Blackwell.
Hey, happy to be back. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And also from Northland Wrestling, this is my first time meeting Josh, but Josh Bain.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. Guys, Rusty, tell us a little bit about yourself real quick. I know it's been a minute.
So I'm Rusty Blackwell, the Backwoods Butcher. I've been wrestling for a few years now, and if you can believe it, I do my best to be a champion of the average person, and work with my best friend Tommy McLeod, who's my tag team partner, who, if you can believe it, took the belt off of this guy right here below me. It was fantastic. Yeah, so we'll start it off that way. Yeah.
All right. Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Josh Bain. I'm the main man. And, Rusty's got it right. Tommy McLeod did take the True Patriot Championship from me, but I plan on just absolutely embarrassing Tommy McLeod and taking it back. I'm the most fightingest champion in the history of Northland Wrestling and the longest reigning True Patriot champion of all time. I've got career wins over guys like Trent Seven, and I'm going to get another one over Tommy McLeod, and there's nothing else we can do about it.
Oh, my God.
You say Trent Seven?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Heck yeah, man. Josh, I know Rusty's been wrestling for about 200 years. How about you?
Rusty's been wrestling for 200 years. I've been wrestling just a little bit shorter than that. No, me and Rusty actually started training at the exact same time.
Okay.
Under Dan Jarris with Energy Y Pro Wrestling Academy. We started training together. We came in as friends, but then we had to get in the ring together, and now we don't even like each other anymore. This is the first time we've ever looked at each other without going to blows, probably in 6 or 7 months.
Oh man, I know we could separate these two if we have to, right? Luckily there is no way for them to get to each other through here, but I don't know. He might know where you live, Rusty. I'm not sure.
He does actually know where I live. He's been to my house before everything went wrong. He was
sending all the chain letters to his house.
When we started training, Josh was the star pupil of the training academy, and he ruined everything by just turning sour as my daddy's lips. One of the things that I think about when I'm thinking of it, when I'm listening to him talk, is how angry I'm getting, and I'm trying to think of how I'm going to keep it together. But I'm almost like maybe I'll just say whatever I need to say to you as a wrestler, Bain. I'll try to save until we can get through all of this. That way we don't argue too much while we're on the show.
That's fair. I think it's a good idea to try and keep civil tonight. You guys can settle your differences in the ring and on the microphone. We can handle that at a different time. As for right now, I think it's a great idea to just kind of dive right into this. We're going to take a look at the career of AJ Styles. Let's go. What do you guys think? You ready?
Oh, man, I've been waiting for this since you announced
Been waiting for this one. We already did Sting for Scalz, and he was loving that one. But anyway,
I only make special appearances on here.
Special appearances for his favorites. we all know AJ Styles has been kind of everywhere. He's been to pretty much every major promotion and a ton of the smaller ones all over the globe. Some of the fun things that I actually learned about him, he was actually born on a Marine Corps base in North Carolina. I didn't know that. That kind of doesn't surprise me, though. His family was very poor. They didn't have TV. So his passion for pro wrestling was hard to deal with because he was never able to watch it. There was no way for him to actually watch it unless there was a show that came through town that he was lucky enough to get tickets to really cheap or something like that. And I think it's kind of obvious, but this is kind of something that I thought was interesting too. He was actually a 2-time amateur wrestling champion in high school. So he was actually good at amateur wrestling as well as becoming one of the best professional wrestlers we've ever seen. He trained under a former ECW wrestler who went by the name of Rick Michaels. Does anyone remember? Does anyone know who Rick Michaels is off the top of your head? He was very, very briefly in ECW before I was born. When you guys get
before you were born, Nate.
Yeah, you're right. You're very right. We'll circle back to that in a bit. It's nothing major, but pretty quickly after going to college, AJ Styles started professional wrestling. He debuted in pro wrestling under the ring name of Mr. Olympia in a Georgia-based promotion called National Championship Wrestling. He very briefly made appearances for both WCW and the WWF in the early 2000s, mostly as an enhancement talent. WCW wanted to use him in the tag division full-time, but he declined. And he also declined an offer from WWE for a developmental deal so that he could support his wife while she was in college. I think that is one of the most amazing sacrifices a human could ever make, is for their family like that. So a lot of respect to that man for saying no to the 2 largest promotions on the planet at the time. Kind of crazy. So he kind of stuck where he was, He went down to TNA, which was based out of Florida. He also did some work with Ring of Honor, and he stayed with TNA for 12 years. He was pretty much one of the 3 or 4 major big faces of that company. I'm sure everyone remembers the 6-sided ring back in the day. Those absolutely insane X Division matches. AJ Styles was a pioneer of all of that. He was easily one of the biggest names in TNA. He had tons of great feuds with people like Samoa Joe, Jeff Jarrett, even though Jeff Jarrett's useless, Abyss, Kurt Angle, Sting. I mean, any big name that went through TNA, you can pretty much guarantee that AJ Styles feuded with or had an incredible match with. Ended up leaving TNA in 2014, made a return to Ring of Honor, and also decided to dip his feet into New Japan. And that's when things really, really took off for him, because he became the new leader of the Bullet Club. I don't know if you guys know anything about the Bullet Club. They're one of the biggest factions of this century. In 2016, he was kicked out of Bullet Club by none other than Kenny Omega. Wrestled his last match for New Japan against Shinsuke Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom 10 in 2016. One of the greatest professional wrestling matches of all time, which was actually overshadowed by the main event of that night too, which was Okada versus, refresh my memory, what was Wrestle Kingdom 10? It was Okada versus somebody. I don't remember off the top of my head. That's fine. If anyone else knows, put it in the chat. Less than a month later, I'm sure.
Pretty sure it was Kenny Omega.
It was probably Kenny Omega, now that I'm thinking about it. Less than a month later, AJ Styles did something that I never thought I would see.
It was Takahashi.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okada versus Tanahashi.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I see. That was a great match too, but for some reason I'm drawn to AJ Styles and Shinsuke because I grew up watching AJ Styles. He was my favorite guy from TNA. But less than a month after Wrestle Kingdom 10, he makes his debut in WWE at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. We all remember it. The crowd went nuts, and we had no fucking idea why, because the camera was on Roman Reigns' stupid face still. Orlando, Florida, too, I believe, was where that Rumble is. So, that's TNA territory. Incredible timing. It couldn't have been any better, honestly. They did it perfectly. He shot right up the card. His first feud was with Chris Jericho. He ended up feuding with Roman Reigns for the WWE title. ended up feuding with John Cena, Undertaker, Edge, pretty much every Hall of Fame talent that you could think of that went through WWE at that time, he feuded with in some level. As of now, he's still under contract with the WWE, as we all know. He actually figures to have a pretty prominent role at WrestleMania this year. The last couple of years, it seems he's kind of been cast aside, so I'm glad that he's getting a little bit more focus. I know he's dealt with some injuries. I'm actually really glad that he's getting some more focus because the guy he's all time. He can still work. He's pushing 50 years old. He can still work a fantastic match with anybody he gets in the ring with. In the last 2+ decades, 20, 25 years, he's established himself as one of the premier wrestlers of this or any generation, just wowing audiences with his innovative style and his ability to put on memorable matches. A lot of people have actually compared him to Shawn Michaels, and anyone knows the big Shawn Michaels stan that I am. That's a big endorsement, and it's one that I actually completely agree with. I think he is the closest thing to what Shawn Michaels was in his prime, just completely incapable of performing poorly in the ring. Like, he could have a broken leg, he'd probably put on a 5-star match somehow. He's that fucking good. Before we get into the I know. I'm wearing the AJ or the Orton shirt. So I was gonna wear my AJ Styles shirt, and I don't want to sound too cocky, but I got too swole for it, so it didn't fit on my neck and shoulders anymore. I put on 40 pounds since I got that shirt. Anyways, before we kind of dig into the roundtable discussion and get everybody involved here, a couple of fun facts I like to throw at people whenever we do these. AJ Styles, as we know, went through all of the big promotions. He was a 6-time tag champion, 6-time X Division champ, and a 5-time world champion in TNA. He was a 2-time IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in New Japan. In WWE, he's a Grand Slam champion. He won the tag titles once with the greatest professional wrestler of all time, Omos. The Intercontinental title, the U.S. title 3 times, and the WWE title twice. He was actually... By Pro Wrestling Illustrated, he was actually named the Wrestler of the Decade for the 2010s. That's outstanding to me, thinking about some of the other talent that we had in the 2010s. Seth Rollins, Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him. Some of the names that are up there, Kazuchika Okada, like incredible talent across the world, and he was named the best. He's the only man to win the top world championship in WWE, New Japan, and TNA throughout his career. No one else has done that. A lot of people have won them in 2, like Hulk Hogan. I'm surprised Hulk Hogan didn't put the TNA title on himself at some point, but you never know. And this is the best fun fact that I learned about AJ Styles. You ready for this? He is a big, gigantic, massive fan of Christian hip-hop. I'm not sure if this really classifies as a fun fact, but I just thought it was funny. I think that's hilarious.
His theme songs.
Ooh, with that being said, we got a little bit of hostility up in here. I think we need to get you guys out of here. Rusty, where can we find you at, my man?
If you can, Northland Wrestling is my home promotion. There's a big show that Bain was just talking about happening on March 23rd, and then leading up to that, I'll be doing 6 shows in 6 days with Canadian Wrestling Elite. I'll be working multiple matches, going against working with my best friend Tommy McLeod in some tag matches. Doing some singles matches where I'll be facing off against Sean Martins, who's another undesirable, we'll say, similar to this character right here. And then I get to wrestle on March 20th in Sturgeon Falls, Ontario, which is my home community where I live. And I am tagging with Salvio Vega against the Digglers, who are a couple of loudmouth rapscallions, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, you can find me at CWE, or you can find me at Northland.
Did you say Savio Vega, like the Savio Vega?
That is correct. Yes, I'll be tagging with Savio Vega for a match. That'll be fun. And
That's
if you
pretty
can
badass.
wait until Bain gets to talk, because he'll tell you all about Salvio.
Hell yeah. All right. Mr. Bain, where can we find you?
You can find me at Bain.wrestling on Instagram. You can find me on the same tour. I'm going to be with CWE, but Savio Vega is not going to actually get the team with Rusty because he's got to go through Bain. I got him one-on-one, and Savio's not making it to your tag team match, Rusty. I'm sorry, buddy. And so Instagram, CWE, and then Northland Wrestling, where Daddy's home.
All right. Alpha Simp, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch, streaming before the lovely Off the Top Rivet City Radio shows go live on their respective channels, or after at the Alpha Wolf Sean B with streaming. Hopefully I can get 2K working, continue streaming that, or I stream Fortnite, whatever. You can find me on pretty much every social media. Instagram is Alpha Wolf Sean B 2.0. TikTok is the Alpha Wolf Sean B. And then you can find me Monday nights on Rivet City Radio after Monday Night Raw with the table spot. Or on here sometimes.
All right. Scalz, how about you?
You can find me here on Off the Top Media on both Twitch and YouTube, and then Off the Top Media _ on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. It was great to come back to do a career retrospective. Thank you, Nate, for allowing me to be on the show. Take us home.
All right. Again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for kind of being patient. I know there was a lot going on that I don't really, you guys know me. I don't disclose my public or my personal life in public. So, I mean, it was really difficult time there for a little bit. So I can't appreciate you guys enough for holding things down for me, and the couple of episodes that Shadow hosted and did a fantastic job with. So I do want to say thank you for that. Moving forward, we're going to stick to this every 2-week schedule for Career Retrospective. I'm in this. I'm ready to go. My energy is up. I feel great. You can find me on TikTok at Nate McNamara WB. You can find me pretty much nowhere else because all my social media has been deactivated, and I don't really like social media that much. I like my TikTok family. I like my Twitch family. This is where I belong. This is what I love doing. It's a good outlet too. It's a good way to kind of get away from the rest of the world. So with that being said, who's winning the main event of WrestleMania this year? Is it Cody Rhodes or is it going to be the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns?
Holy crap! It's got to be Rhodes. I'm sorry.
Got to be Rhodes.
Roman Reigns has been running the show for too long. I'm done.
All right,
time to move on.
Josh, who's winning?
Well, I say it's got to be Rhodes, but I just like seeing people disappointed too much. So just because Rusty wants Rhodes to win, I'm just gonna say Roman Reigns.
Ooh.
I was gonna say you can't possibly agree with Rusty on
I just
that.
want everyone disappointed. That's what I want.
Sean, who's winning?
Look, by no means am I a fan at all of Roman Reigns, but I want to see the Cody crybabies suffer again because I cried so much on social media for this match. I'm going Roman, defeat Hogan's streak, and then he can lose it.
Scalz?
I don't think they have Cody lose because that would really defeat the purpose of the Rumble, considering the winner would not have won 4 years in a row.
Yep.
What would be the point of winning the Rumble if everyone loses? So it has to be Cody.
I will say one thing. I think I want you guys to look at this from a different perspective. Cody Rhodes fan base just exploding and going all over social media. I think it's been beneficial to WWE because I think it means The Rock actually sticks around longer. And that's just good for business. I think The Rock was going to come in, do this one-off match, and disappear. I think Cody Rhodes sticking around has extended that story now. The Rock gets to stay around longer. Everyone benefits. That being said, Cody Rhodes is winning at the Royal Rumble at WrestleMania. But yeah, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned to my TikTok and Off the Top Media TikTok. We will be announcing the next career retrospective 2 weeks from tonight. Just stay tuned. But everybody else, thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you next time.
Peace.